Hi everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is Jodi Harrison, the CEO of Prolong Lash, and I'm here with the lovely Alicia.
Hello guys. Today we're talking about an extremely important thing for any lash salon owner, and that is planning your marketing strategy for the upcoming year because, let's be honest, we need to have a plan. We need to think about what we're going to be doing so we're not wasting money.
And it's nearly 2025.
It's
nearly 2025. Christmas and New Year's are just around the corner. I can't believe we're saying that. So let's start with something that's really important to me is a strong business plan. Strong business plan. Even before you start looking at the marketing platforms and options, you need to know what your goals are, what you're setting for yourself, what your aim is. If you're starting up a new venture in your business, if it's the services you've had are going to be the same next year, or you're adding in a little retail area into the corner where you're going to be getting Prolong Lash sent out to you for Christmas presents and putting it in the corner. Work out if you're going to take the same direction for yourself as a business first. Are you putting on another person? Are you getting rid of a staff member? Has sales quietened? Are sales going to get busier? So it's a good time to really reassess and refocus and make sure that you're thinking really positively about steps to advance your business next year. It's a perfect time to do it.
So as the really business-minded person in this team, whereas I'm more of the marketing brain, you're the business lady, what would you say is a good strategy for working out what your sales are going to be like, or like trying to project your sales ahead and get a mind around that so then you can work on what kind of a budget that you can have for your marketing plan?
So I suppose what the best thing that I would do is look back over the year as in quarters. Break it down in quarters. It's a lot easier for yourself. So if the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, have a look at what your figures were in 2024 for each quarter. So figures for me is Prolong Lash selling. Figures for you may be services. So you have a look at that first quarter services, whether you look at it by revenue, whether you look at it by client visits, however you assess a trend, it doesn't really matter as long as you follow that trend the same for each quarter. So for me personally, it's always revenue driven. So I would be looking at how much money I made in that first quarter, what my expenses were in that first quarter, and do the same for every quarter of the year. So you've got a total 4 quarters of revenue and a total 4 quarters of expenses. Have a look at your expenses. Have a look at how you can maybe tighten up your expenses. If you need to be adding more because you're starting a new project, allow how much you think that expense will need for the next quarter. So what I do is I would always aim for nothing less than a 15% increase on your revenue. Anything under 15% is not giving you a high enough goal. I'm not saying you're going to make that 15%. I'm not going to say you're not going to make 25%. The 15% is sort of a really good starting block in business where it's a little bit more than 10%, which is what the banks and what financial institutions and what other companies all say you should be aiming higher than a 10% increase. Aiming for a 20% increase is just a little high. So split it in the middle. So increase your revenue goals by 15%. And then you have to adjust your expenses to suit that. So your expenses will have to be 15% higher if you're expecting 15% in revenue, unless you're very clever and you get yourself an extra part of your business and you put in your retail quarter and you do some deals with suppliers and you get really good margins on some products. Then you don't have to worry about changing your expenses because that extra revenue is coming from somewhere without having to put too much of an investment in it. So 15% is really good, and also do a little bit of research on the industry. So the beauty industry, as we know, Alicia's had a bit of a tough few months, not just lashes, but the beauty industry itself has taken a little bit of beating globally. So we follow those trends. Alicia and I look at those figures and we make sure that, and it's pretty easy to see, it's in the news, you can look up how is the beauty industry tracking for 2024. At the moment, we know 27% down is the figure that's been thrown around for the last quarter. So you have to take that into account with your business too. So it's not just a personal thing. If you've had a little trend that's going like that, you'll see that the beauty industry is a little bit like that, and that it'll flatten out. So when you're doing your figures, just make sure that you follow the industry trends as well. Don't be nervous about following what the rest of the sector's doing, because we do at Prolong. We follow the rest of the sector. We still have our own figures, but we keep an eye on our competition. We keep an eye on the industry. So yeah, and if you've got any questions, you can always get in contact with me and I'm happy to talk you through business plans and goals.
So how many goals do you think someone should have just to start out with? Like, sounds like one of the goals is to increase their revenue by 15%. And then what are some other goals that they should be putting in place? Or how many goals do you think someone that's maybe running a small business and is not got a big team behind them should be putting in place that are achievable for a year ahead?
A year ahead, I always used to be one a quarter. So I would always picture the 4 goals. So, and set your goals for each quarter. So your goal in quarter 1 is to work out how you're going to increase your revenue. So it's easy to put the 15% up, but my goal for quarter 1 would be, okay, do I expand into retail? Do I add more services? Do I take out that service because it wasn't very good, take that off and do I bring in a nail lady to do nail work in the corner? I would look at the first quarter as being the number 1 goal, which was the revenue. So I don't think any more than 4. 1 a quarter, give you some focus. And if you think revenue is going to take a lot longer, like increasing your revenue and working on that plan, give it 2 quarters then. And then, 3 to 4 goals a year is fairly achievable for if you're on your own, even if you've got another staff member. But that's what I would do. And goals are very personal. One of your goals might be a personal goal. It might be to make sure that you take in the second quarter 2 weeks off. That's a goal. So it's caring and self-caring and well-being can be a goal.
And an important thing to budget in is if you're working for yourself, if you're going to need to be having goals that include taking time off, you need to think about how you're going to afford to take that time off and what you're going to do with your clients in that time and those kind of things. So they all do take planning.
Yeah, they take a lot of planning. So, I mean, I would definitely have a holidays, a plan in one of your quarters. And another goal could be to, if you've increased your revenue 15% and you think that the salon's tracking well, to put another staff member. You know, it might be time for you to look at another staff member that you can take your holiday time off and still make the money and keep the revenue ticking over. So, yeah, there's a few goals that I suppose I would look at with number 1, revenue, number 2, well-being, time off, and number 3, looking at maybe increasing a staff member.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, grow that business.
There you go, grow. All right, let's get into social media. You're on.
All right, so yeah, we want to talk about social media planning for the year ahead. So the lash industry does very well in visual platforms. So we're talking the Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. The lash industry does well in those areas where you can actually really see people's work. Instagram is sort of the number 1 go-to, I think, for most clients to be able to find a lash salon near them and be able to see their work and find people. So you probably want to put some goals in place as to what kind of marketing you want to be doing on these platforms. Consistent posting is important to a certain degree. You can't just disappear from people's timelines for a huge amount of time because, you know, you're not appearing up the top of searches. And if you're not being active on these platforms, you won't get served to people, basically. So you need to put a plan in place, even if you start making a goal to take at least 1 photo of a client every day. If you're seeing 6 or 7 clients, you know, it's a bit much to think, oh, I'm going to take a photo of every single lash that I do. And you don't necessarily just want your posts to be only lashes or just people's eyes, because that's a very boring Instagram wall as well. But you need to think about what you're wanting to be posting and how often you want to be posting and put a plan in place. So suggest maybe posting a photo of your work, you know, once a week. The second post for your week might be a lifestyle type of post where you show some of yourself, your personality. Oh, this is my Starbucks coffee order this morning, that kind of thing. And then another post for the week might be retail products that you're selling in your salon, other services that you provide, and things like that. So whatever is going to go well with your brand and the services that you provide, you can make the plan around that. But make sure that you do put a plan in place and then stick to it, because it's easy to take photos of lashes and then forget to post them, and it's all too hard to edit and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden it's been months and you haven't posted anything on your Instagram page.
Naughty. And
Oh, yeah.
and it's so true what you're saying about putting the lifestyle in there too, because I'm not very good on socials. For those of you who know me, I'd be lucky to get onto my socials once a week, but
And
not the prolonged socials. I get on. You do.
But the lifestyle's a good opportunity to do video as well. Video content is so highly rated on these platforms. Like Instagram loves videos, it loves reels, and a lifestyle is a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we can do that in here by doing a lifestyle video of Jodi doing a handstand.
Yay.
But it's her favorite thing to do. So, you know, that's a good opportunity. Think about any times that you can be showing a video instead of just a photo. People will look at a photo for a second, maybe not even a second, and then scroll on. If you have a 15 to 30 second video, people might watch your page for 30 seconds, which is really great engagement, and Instagram knows that people want to see more from you. So then every time you post something, they start serving it to those people that have watched your whole video. So take the opportunity to do a video. If you're doing a photo of someone's lashes, consider maybe don't do a photo. Consider maybe zooming in their eye and their eyelashes fluttering, or something just slightly different. It's not just that standard photograph. You know, do your Starbucks coffee order in a video format instead of just a picture of your coffee, things like that. Say you've put some different decor up in your salon, do a little salon tour. Say, look at our new chairs that we've got, aren't they lovely? They're velvet, look how nice they feel, that kind of thing. Yeah,
I've been coming into Christmas, you can have some wonderful ideas
oh yeah,
too for your content, like to mix it up a little bit.
yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, obviously that's planning in ahead, but you would have we've planned some fun stuff for Christmas, I'm sure.
Yes.
And-
Oh yes, our planning generally happens 3 to 4 months in advance.
And that's important to know too, 3 to 4 months in advance. So you have a schedule for 3 to 4 months in advance.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We usually have our posts even already created at least 2 months in advance, but be wary that in this digital age of, you know, trends and things, you can't just set and forget. Okay, you can't just pop your things all into a scheduling app like I don't know, a Hootsuite, or even Meta's auto scheduling apps, and just let it go, because you need to check in and make sure, what I said in these posts, are they still relevant? What if the Barbie trend comes up and everyone's on Barbie? You don't want to miss out on an opportunity to, you know, take someone else's marketing and use it for yourself. So make sure you get on board and pivot fast, so you can leave
TikTok.
gaps. Yep,
Particularly
yeah.
with TikTok.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Like,
the trends.
The
change.
trends just change like that. So we can come into work one week and just be asked to do something for TikTok.
Yes,
Can you do this? We just need to do this. It's all over TikTok.
Exactly. So leave gaps in your schedule as well, where you can like adapt and pivot. And then you can always just have like a little folder of backup posts, which is just your, you know, beautiful lash posts, or if you've done something fun, a fun photo shoot of yourself or something. So you have things in the background, and then you can just post something if you've left a gap and you haven't come across a trend that you want to slot into your social media plan. You can just pop something else that you've had in the back end just ready to go. So the planning feels really daunting at first, but once you're like a few months ahead, it's just so easy just to create like a couple of pieces of content each week, or a couple of months time away, and you're just so organized. And then if something happens where you're not well, your computer breaks,
I want to take a holiday.
Yeah, you're more organized, and it's not going to affect you, and you're not going to have a big gap of no posting on your social media wall.
Which is a no-no, because the people like me that don't use it much, I'll forget about you very quickly.
You're dead to Jodi.
One area that really works for us here at Prolong Lash is our EDM marketing. So our emails that go out are also scheduled, but we pivot pretty quickly when new campaigns are needed for Christmas, Black Friday, whatever it is that we do. Alicia, you work very heavily on our EDM, so I won't try and take over that, but they're very important, aren't they? Because even when I get them through my inboxes, you do, it's in your phone, it's in your hand, it comes through. But there's a lot of work in them, isn't there?
There is a lot of work in them, but you are speaking to a captive audience. Like, it's actually a waste if you don't do email marketing, because you have customers that have come to you and said to you, yes, please market to me. And then if you don't, like, how silly to waste that. So one legal thing that we should touch on with email marketing is that you do need to get explicit consent to market to people via email, and separate explicit consent to market to people by SMS. Just letting you know that, because sometimes people just lump them together and go, oh, I can send you a message or an email and it's the same, but it's not. They're two separate consents. But you can do it on your consent form when someone comes in and signs their form and says, you know, that they're happy to take on your services, and they, you know, rid you of liability if something happens or whatever. And do you consent to email marketing? Tick a box. As long as you have that and you can have that on record. Ideally, if you do it digitally, you can sort of just link that straight into your email marketing, whether it be a MailChimp or a Klaviyo system that you use, for example. So then if they can do an online digital form, you can usually do a link, and then it will create your email marketing list for you within your systems. If you can't do that, that's okay. You can usually just make an Excel spreadsheet and keep all of your marketing consents in there, and then you can drop the file into email marketing as well. Just make sure that you don't put anything in there that of people that haven't consented. But with email marketing, like you were saying before, yes, there's a lot that goes into it when we run like a campaign or something new. But there's also an ability to set and forget with email marketing, which is to have some flows set up. So if you've had a customer visit your store and have a service, you can actually have flows that are automated to go to them to say, did you enjoy your service with me? Can you leave me a review, for example, of both those? Yeah, or it's been 6 months since we saw you last. You know, you can literally make a segment in your email list that say, email anybody who hasn't been into my salon for 6 months or longer.
Get your butts back in here.
Yeah, and that can automatically go out to them saying, hey, we miss you. Come back to our, we do miss you, and your payment of the services. Come back.
Get back.
You know, those things can be automated, and they're a set and forget in the sense that you're not having to create it all the time. You do need to check on it, make sure that everything's working. If you see like a massive drop in an automated email like that, like the data, check that something hasn't gone wrong, that like a link hasn't broken in the email to your website or something like that. But you don't have to keep on designing and worrying about that all the time. Campaign emails are more special occasion or sharing some information. So that would be what would be considered maybe like a newsletter from a salon. So if you want to say, this is what's happening in our salon this month, maybe you send out once a month a campaign letting your customers know what's new. Do you have any new services? Are there any busy periods coming up soon? When are they going to have to book to make sure that they get an appointment before Christmas or New Year? Are you going to be closed for a period of time? Do you have shipping cutoffs if you send out products to people? You know, they're the kind of things that you can send in newsletters, and they will be ones that you are actually going to create once a month. But these programs that you can create these emails in, like the MailChimps and such, have really great what they call drag and drop design options now. So it's so easy for anyone to create an email. Just say drag a image box across, and then you can put your business's logo. You can put your business's imagery from your website.
Could I do it?
Yes.
Really? You think if I can do it? Sorry about my shuffling. If I can do it, and anyone can do it.
Yes, I think you definitely could do it. The things that are tricky are if you're going to send out to huge amounts of people. Like, I'm assuming what we're talking about right now are people that are running smaller lash salons probably, and they don't have a marketing team. So you're probably sending out to a list of maybe 50 people, maybe 300 people if you're doing a whole newsletter to your whole mailing list or something like that. If you're going to start sending to 50,000 people at a time, like we do, then there is a bit more like coding involved, and you don't really want to use a drag and drop. You want to write in HTML code, which is a whole nother language. So that's too scary. We don't need to talk about that.
need to talk about it.
But yes, you could, and anyone that knows how to use a computer can use a drag and drop on an email system like that.
There you go. So when you're doing your business planning, make sure that your marketing planning gets some of your time too.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So that's important, and make sure that you're including in your marketing plan your social media schedule, your EDM schedule. And can you repurpose content? My favorite thing to do. Can you repurpose your content? And did you make a great post on Instagram that went really viral and was really cool? Or, I don't know what that means. For different people, viral might be different things. Maybe you had 2,000 people like your post, and that's really awesome. Can you then turn that post into a fun, funky newsletter somehow, and like make it all themed like that post was? Or even share, you can even share videos in EDMs a lot of the time if you do it in GIF form as well. So, there's different ideas for using the content over and over again, not having to create something new every single time you do something.
Something else that you always talk about, and it still will be for small salons as well, is user-generated content. I know that you always say if someone's doing something about us or showing something from Prolong, we just repost it. Yep. So keep an eye on that too, because your clients might be, I went to see such and such today. Get them to tag you in their stories when they've left with their beautiful lashes, because most people do take a photo of their lashes when they leave, or put it on Insta and show. Make sure you're tagged in that so you can repost.
There's nothing more valuable than user-generated content, because it is genuine. Like, not influencers we're talking about. You haven't paid for this. When your customer takes a photo of their lashes because they love them and post them on their personal Instagram account, that is gold. That is gold, and you should use it. And if they've tagged you, I think you can go for it. But if you want to, you can just send them a message. And if we're going to repurpose user-generated content, like, we will contact the person who has created it and say, hey, we would love to share this on our Instagram page. Would you be okay with that? And people really appreciate that as well.
Oh, that's
just
nice.
Point. And I don't think anyone ever says no, because they would love to be shared elsewhere.
Of course. Okay, so I think that's the EDMs and socials. Let's talk about our websites and optimizing our SEO engines and searches, and how we get to be number one. Prolong, we've been quite lucky that we've been able to engage in some people that have really educated us as a company and employees how to use this sort of work. So we've learnt it, we've been trained on it, and now we all utilize it. There's a few of us working on SEOs, and there's a few in the company that work on different parts of it, but we've got Google Analytics. It's really important. Prolong Lash, we want Prolong Lash to be the number one thing that pops up on Google when you search aftercare, because we are the number one aftercare brand in the world. And so, but we just don't sit on our laurels, or we don't just sit around and say, yay, that's us. We work really hard to get that search engine bringing up Prolong Lash. So
Google is a competitive space, and acknowledging that not all lash artists are going to have a website, but I do think you should. I don't think it's good enough just to have an Instagram page with your address on it and a booking form. If you really want to grow your business and get clientele, you should have, at minimum, a Google My Business page, for one thing, and that is really easy to set up. You just do it through Google and set yourself up as a business. So that makes it, when you're looking up restaurants near me, and then it gives you a little map with pins on it, and you can just click on the little pins, A, B, C, D, E, and they're all like Google My Business businesses. So if you
want to be one of those pins.
You want to be
one of those pins.
So that's really important. And then the next step is also having a website. Even if your website's really basic, which it can be, which is just what services do you provide? Have a online booking. Please have online booking. I'm always going on about online booking. Please have online booking, your contact forms, and if you're savvy and you really want to grow your business and your clientele, have a blog page as well, because you can give such great information about lashes, lash care, and what happens is when you have a lot of information about eyelashes on your website, you will be picked up in keyword searches. So if someone says best eyelash extensions in Phoenix, Arizona, and that is you, and you've talked about eyelash extensions for a couple of blogs on your website and why, it's important to get the best eyelash extensions, those keywords will get picked up by Google and it will be served to that person that's looking for that information in Phoenix, Arizona. So it makes it really easy for people to find you. And all it takes is even writing short blogs about what you know about eyelash extensions and what you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be what's already out there. It can be what's already out there. I know people say, I don't feel like writing a blog about that because there's 10,000 blogs about that. That's so silly. But
it's not your blog.
It's not your blog, and it's not from your salon in Phoenix, Arizona, which is where these specific people are looking for. If they look that up and it's somewhere on the other side of the world that's written that blog, it's not relevant to them. That's not going to serve to them. So there's still value in writing a blog that's been written about before. And when it's written by you, it will still be interesting and have its own spin. So
exactly. Put it out there. Do as many. We do lots of blogs.
Yeah,
we write about lots of things, and even though the information is out there, we still write about it because it's coming from Prolong Lash as an aftercare specialist. So we use all those words throughout our blogs. And the more that Google thinks that you are happy to educate people, not just be there to sell something, the more they put you up the front and up the top and recommend you.
Yeah, and Google values good quality information as well. I know that sounds weird, like you have some personality, Google, but they do value things that are educational and are purposeful and make sense. Like if you were just filling a blog with a bunch of keywords and it was a nonsensical mess and it didn't really, say much, it's not going to count that for anything. So if you are going to do it right. But it really doesn't take that much to do a blog once a month. Maybe you have a gap in your day and you can spend 45 minutes just writing a little bit of information about why you think classic lashes are so great or something like that.
Jump on our website. We've got a really good blog page. It's one of our drop downs, and so jump on and have a look at our examples and what we are talking about. There's no reason you can't talk about the same thing in your area. We're talking about them from Australia.
Yep.
We're talking about them from California, but you're in somewhere else. So have a look at some ideas, and we think we do a pretty good job with blogs here, and we've got a really good SEO and Google rating. So have a little look, and it's out there, so you don't have to recreate anything. Have a look at the setup and the structure, and then go and write your own.
Another good thing to put into your marketing strategy is when you would, or if you would like to, run any deals or promotions for the year. So that's something you will need to consider for not only your
business
revenue raising business plan, as we were talking about before, but also where you're going to fit that into your social media marketing, into your email planning. So that's a really good thing to have in place early on in your planning. What do you want to be a part of? Do you want to be a part of Black Friday? And if you do, we've got a great podcast about Black Friday planning, so jump onto that. But do you want to be a Black Friday sales person? That came out weird.
Yeah, I'm sure getting one.
Do you want to run something unusual that people aren't necessarily running? Do you want to do a spring membership deal or something different? So I think come up with what you want to be involved in for your business and how that's going to work. Do you want to make the most of those busy sale periods that everyone is going on, or do you want to avoid the competition and not be a part of those sales and do something really unique? And if you aren't part of the big sales, are you going to miss out and are other people going to take that money? If you're doing something unusual, are people going to buy into it, or are they going to love it and think that that's really cool and gives them an opportunity to snag a sale when there's no other sales on? There's a lot of
It's a tough one, isn't it? We come up against this every month because we are global. Every month somewhere there's a sale somewhere, or there's an event or something that we have to pivot and become part of. So we this is a constant thing for us, isn't it? The discounting, whether we do sales, whether we just stick to one a year. We always had the plan just to do Black Friday, and Black Friday's always been our one and only major sale. But now we've gone into Asian markets, and now we've gone into the European markets. Their sales are different, their drives and their trends are different. So, but for your own area, you have to decide for your own area where you live and where you work from, what works better. Is it an area that, Amazon Black Friday sales kill it? So you need to be involved in that, be part of it. Whether it's just, Halloween's massive in America, as you guys all know, and everything was Halloween sale. I think that was bigger than the Black Friday sale that just happened. Everyone had Halloween posts coming through and sales, and so are you smart and use the holiday period to do your advertising and sales? Do you need to? Is that your busiest time? Do you actually need to have a discount then?
Yeah.
Should you look at it when quieter periods, like when everyone's going back to school, or look at discounts at a different time?
And consider whether discounting is even the right option for you. Some brands won't discount ever, and that's their stance. And that's cool too, because people won't wait for sales in that situation. You just know Tiffany, for example, never goes on sale. So you're not waiting for a sale period or thinking, oh, I won't buy this. If you want to buy someone a gift of a necklace for their wedding anniversary,
You just got to buy it.
You just got to buy it. You don't have to, they're not going to miss out on sales necessarily because they're just a high-end brand and they know people are holding off for a sale period. So is that the kind of vibe you want to go for in your business? And if you aren't going to discount, which is totally valid, are there other options that you can provide to people that might still incentivize, like membership?
Yeah, memberships, loyalty programs,
referrals.
Referrals, just go. We're like Jinx, personal Jinx. Yeah, there's really good incentives. We found that loyalty programs work really well. Point-based system. It's whether you do it on money spent, services used, times visited. You can set it up however you want, and what you give back, make it attainable. So whatever the reward is, make it an attainable reward that's relevant. Don't just make it something that's people go, oh, I'm not even going to try and build my points up with that. It's ridiculous. I'm never going to make 5,000 points. I visit 4 times a year.
Also, sometimes it's fun to give something that you can't just give away, like not necessarily just a free refill after your 10th refill or something. Sometimes it's nice to give something a bit different and think about the cost benefit for you. If giving away a free refill means that you have to give away a refill slot where you could have earned $80, is it actually better for you to go to Mecca and buy a $50 gift card and give that away as a gift?
Or go to Prolong Lash and buy a box of 30 foaming pumps and get a really good discount because you're buying 30 of them, and it'll cost you about $4, $5 in the end to give away a foaming pump. Like, have a think about what you can incentivize with, and what's your margins while you're doing this, because of revenue, please. What's your margins? Make sure it doesn't outprice itself, this form of a loyalty program. Make sure it comes into your budget that you've worked out. But yeah, that's a good idea. Mecca's good too. Prolong's better.
Well, I was just trying to say things that were different to the lash industry, but you can wash your entire face with Prolong Lash Cleanser, so it is skincare as well, pH balanced, and can be used on the entire face.
Or you can go to Mecca. So like you were talking about, where you set down your EDMs and you leave them be, what was the wording you used? You
set and forget.
Set and forget. Marketing plan and a business plan is something you cannot set and forget, ever. Marketing plans, particularly with the trends that change in socials, the trends that change in sales, events that can happen that can shift the whole place of a country. Recently, the voting that went on, the elections that have been going on, that's through business. So you have to readjust your plans to things that are relevant and happening in the news and in the sector. So yeah, keep an eye on those. Don't let them go.
Yeah.
Don't let them get out of your control.
No, you need to review. If you do have a website, you can rely pretty heavily on Google Analytics. It's a little bit confusing to start out with, but you will get the hang of it. Like, get in there, spend some time in there. There are other systems and things that you can pay for to help you analyze Google Analytics, but it's really not that complicated. If you're a smaller business, they've got some nice little graphs and things that can show you trends and stuff that are going on in your business. So yeah, Google Analytics is a good place to look at. Obviously, your own different systems will have analytics as well. So for example, if you're using an email system, Shopify, if you probably, I don't know about Squarespace or Wix, like they're probably websites and services that lash artists use. I haven't used them myself, but I'm sure that they have analytics. Obviously, Meta have analytics, so those Instagram and Facebook posts you can check in on and see what kind of numbers you're getting on those. And your email systems, the MailChimps and stuff, definitely have analytics to see how your emails are performing. So make sure that you're checking in and making sure everything is performing as you wanted it to. And if you are spending money on advertising as well, you want to make sure that your return on investment is reasonable as well. So, if you are going to start running Meta ads, you cannot forget about them. You need to be checking them weekly and making sure that your return on investment is at a reasonable level. You probably at least want like a 3 to 4 return on investment for Meta ads. And you'll be able to see your return on investment when you're paying small amounts for an email marketing, how many people are rebooking back through those emails. Email return on investment is great. So that's something you need to list.
And once a month too, going to your business plan. Once a month, you don't have to do this weekly, but once a month, sit down at the end of the month, total up your sales, total up however you want to work it, total up how many products you sold, how much revenue come out of your products, how much revenue come out of your analytics, and put them into little sections. Just on a template, it doesn't have to be fancy, and have a look at them yourself, and every month compare where your money's coming back. If it's coming back from the retail area, if it's coming back from your social advertising, if one of your services has really dropped, you can follow a trend monthly. Don't leave it till the quarter, even though your goals for the quarter. Do your reporting monthly, just for yourself. 6 things. Put 6 points down at a piece of paper. Revenue, returning clients, how many products you sold if you're selling products, how close are you to your goal. Look at your socials, make sure your ads are all links and everything's working. Just set yourself 6 little things to put in an end of month report, and report on that every end of month, and then you'll be able to follow some sort of trend. So 2025, here we come. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Happy New Year. All the rest of it. Make 2025 all yours.
Yes, you've got a solid game plan in place, and we hope that you stick to it and have a really successful year ahead. We want to see the lash industry growing and booming, and I personally would like to see everyone put their prices up in 2025, please.
There you go. That's Alicia's goal, getting the world to put the prices up. That's just a little small goal she's going
The
for.
lash industry, not the whole world, because that's pointless.
So thanks for joining us in our final video for the year. It's been an awesome year. It's a big stepping ground for us, stepping into lots of YouTube videos, but we've loved having you with us, coming to see us and speak to us, and we've been getting so much great feedback over the year from the actual YouTube. So spread it around, pass it on, let people know we're here, happy to help with anything we can.
Give us a thumbs up at the bottom of the video if you liked it, and yes, you can actually click the share button and share with your friends as well if you found it interesting. Also jump onto our socials. We're all over Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those. And if you want to buy Prolong Lash products, you can jump onto www.prolonglash.com and .au for Australia.
Fantastic. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for dropping in. Happy holidays.